Welcome to the Atheist Experience. I'm your host, Matt Dillahunty, with recent master's graduate Russell Glasser.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The lines are full again, so we're just going to start taking calls. There's about 20 minutes left in the show. I want to get through as many people as we can.
So we'll have to rush through a few people.
Yeah, so anyway, is it Three Eyes?
Howdy.
Hi.
I want to introduce myself first as Three Eyes, and I'm a witch doctor, and I have an entirely different perspective on things than atheists, Christians, or anybody else you normally talk with. Anyone who's ever been married knows that once you get married, your woman, if she's a traditional woman and you're a traditional man, is going to put you in charge of killing things. Like spiders, bugs, snakes. I had a house in Orlando, Florida one time, and also things that go bump in the night. So I was sleeping next to an open window so that I could be right next to the access to the back of my property. And one night my wife woke me up and said there was someone walking through that path, which was, to me was an act of trespassing. So I grabbed my .357 Magnum, and I was fully prepared to jump through the screen and out into the alley to apprehend this person, make a citizen's arrest, have my wife call the cops, and drag him away. And I found myself standing right in front of a glowing 6-foot-tall Negro ghost. And the reason I'm mentioning Negro ghost is because it made it all the more perfectly clear that it was a ghost, because Negroes are not a glowing, frosty white. And at this point, I had a laugh, and I'm a fearless asshole. I'm an ex-Marine combat veteran, so the ghost didn't scare me. In fact, I wanted to chase it and study it. So I chased this thing around the corner, and it disappeared behind the house of this 16-year-old black kid that used to work for me part-time in my roofing business. Well, the next day after work, we were sitting there smoking a joint, and I knew that he knew about this. And I was mad at him for not telling me, because ghosts have a certain pattern of behavior. They always appear in the same place. So I said to him, Tony, I'm annoyed at you. And he says, about what? I said, because I know that you know there's a ghost in this neighborhood, and you didn't tell me about it.
Is the punchline coming soon?
Yeah. Okay. And so he said, well, yeah, we all know about it, but because it's a black neighborhood. I said, we all know about it, but we thought if we told you about it, you'd think we're crazy. I said, no, I don't think that. But my point is this, that I can't tell you how to prove there's a God, but I can tell you how to prove that there are lesser than that spiritual entities. And as I told you before, I want to give you simple instructions on how to build a device that will enable you to see these things.
Okay, the best way to do that, because reading them to me and trying to have you write them down.
If you believe in the scientific method, let me give you a simple method to prove to your own satisfaction by yourself, for yourself, what I'm talking about.
Okay, go.
Okay. And this is it's incredibly simple.
Okay.
All right. All the materials you need are available at Home Depot or Ace Hardware.
See, it'd still be better if you emailed this to me, too.
Well, I'll just...
Go ahead.
I'm trying to get to the general public.
Sure.
Not just you. All right.
Tell it. I'd love to hear stories.
Which is sort of in the proportion of a flat screen, widescreen TV, like about 16 inches by 12, and glue this with super glue or something to a sturdy wood frame, which is bigger than the mirror a little bit, like an inch on top, but several inches on the side, so you can attach some metal handles. And don't use screws, use bolts with washers and lock washers and nuts on the back of it. And then lay this mirror and a stream of running water, which around here in Austin, that should be easy to find one where people won't think you're crazy by seeing you lay down in the bed of the river, the bank, and try to find one where it doesn't drop off. We're kind of gradually easing into the river.
Sure.
And don't go into one that's deep, because that can be dangerous. But just get one that's about a foot deep.
Okay.
or thereabouts, right? And then lay the mirror under the running water. And this is the only hard part, is that you have to adopt the mentality of a baby. And thus you have to be totally non-judgmental. In other words, if you were carrying, let's say, like, if you watch a baby take a poop, right? They can turn around when they're done, and if you don't flush it before, or they don't flush it, they might just look at it, pick it up, and play with it. Like, they don't have any prejudged, they don't have any preconditioned attitudes about anything.
I completely understand what you're saying.
You can hold an infant, you know, an infant can watch a person get run over by a
Let's
truck.
not talk about infants. Get to how I demonstrate that there's
All I'm
these
trying
spirits.
to say is that it won't work if you don't have the right frame of mind.
I understand.
You have
Get to the
gaze
finish.
at it. And sooner or later, you will see an entity pop up in that mirror. And now, one of three things can happen. You can look at this entity and satisfy yourself that you are looking at a spiritual entity. And my advice at that point is to just let it go. Let go of the mirror and get away from the stream. The second thing that can happen is that it can pull you into its world. And I suggest you have a good friend with you who is strong and have a rope tied around your waist to prevent you from disappearing from this world, because that person will see you go into the stream, and although you can't disappear in a 1-foot thick stream, that is exactly what will happen. You will be gone from this world. Now, you can also pull the thing out of this world into this world. And that would be a really freaky thing. My suggestion is to just, because I would have to get into a long discourse about how to deal with that thing once you've got here. But the point is,
Yeah, long discourses, you're not getting any more of those.
And then let go before something weird happens. And that's it.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Thanks, Three Eyes.
For the advice.
All right.
And I'll be happy to give it a try. I don't know that I can get to the mental state where I'm willing to play with my own poo. But it's been a while since I've been down to the river, so I'm pretty sure I can. I'm a little confused as to why bolts with washers and lock nuts work, but screws don't. But I think there's a couple screws loose.
So, if you take a mirror, just to recap, you take a mirror, attach it to some wood, put it in a river, wait to see some flash of something reflected, and then get yourself in a state where you can convince yourself that that's a ghost.
Yeah.
And that's how you can prove that.
And as soon as you see that there's a ghost, you better run away, because otherwise you might get pulled into their world.
Right. So if you stop to investigate and make sure it's a ghost, then you're in trouble.
Yeah. See, the thing is even if what you say works exactly the way you say it does, it wouldn't be confirming evidence that there's some kind of otherworldly, supernatural, spiritual presence. That's something that we'd have to actually test for. Because one thing we have to determine is whether or not this is really happening, or whether I'm just frickin' crazy.
Not that we're saying anything about the last caller.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have my nephew do it, because maybe he's still young enough to want to play with his poo.
Okay.
All right. For people who've been watching clips on YouTube, if this clip happens to make it to YouTube, it's worth pointing out that you can watch the entire show by going to the website, www.atheist-experience.com, as well as archive shows by clicking on the show archive there. Most of them are on Google Video, some of them are on Blip TV.